Alright, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about what I've done to the Focus and what you should know before you buy a Focus. So starting off, we're going to start with the exterior, walk around the car. I've got Vega modified front splitter rods. I have the canards from them. I bought it as a kit and it makes the front end look real nice. And then for the fenders, I just wrapped them. This was my first time wrapping. It came out pretty good. And on Focuses, you get two different sets of wheels. You can get the snowflakes, which I'll put on the screen. These are the premium wheels for the ST1. There's three versions of the ST. There's ST1, ST2, and ST3. So this is an ST1 with premium wheels. So this is kind of like your base standard package of the car. So this is good if you're just looking for a cheaper model, but you still get all the same things. Still 2.0, still boosted, everything else. And then back here we have Strafe Designs diffuser, and then we have the blacked out reflectors. Sorry, there's stinking cars and helicopters right now. And then for the lugs, these are aftermarket aluminum lugs threaded with steel on the inside. The factory lugs tend to break or just seize up after like a track day or just extensive use. And then I am running the Kendas. They're an okay tire. They're not really a track tire. These are kind of just a get me through the year tire until I can afford some other tires. But yeah, this is what's done to the outside of the car. Kind of just some bolt-on modifications, and then I did the little badge inlays, but it's peeling up. So now I will pop the hood. So on the inside, we are running the Redline Tuning hood struts. These are a nice upgrade from just like the factory little bar that you usually get on all of them. I will put all the cost and links in the description down below. So loud, sorry. So motor wise, it's pretty much stock. I'm running the Roush intake, 3-inch intake with a green filter. And green filter actually make Roush's filters, even though theirs is red. They did like a series for Roush, but green filter is an actual replacement for Roush. So if you ever need a new replacement, just hit up green filter. Underneath my engine cover, I have the Damon Motorsports catch can. What this basically does is it intercepts oil from going into the intake manifold, and basically when the oil recirculates, it gets stuck on top of your valves, and you don't want that. That can cause bad fuel economy and all kinds of other problems. And then down below here I have the Cobb short throw shifter plate, and you have 3 settings on there: 20, 30, and 40% throw decrease or increase. I think I am on the max setting, but this is pretty much what you need for a stage 3 bolt-on intake catch can. You don't need a shifter plate, but that's pretty much what you need. And spark plugs. I am running the NGK Iridium step holder plugs, gap to, I don't know what the gap is. I'll put it in the description or on the screen. And then I'm still running on the stock turbo, so nothing done there. But I do have a catless downpipe. And coming back here, I have the Ford Performance exhaust. So this is a nice little upgrade. It's an OEM Plus upgrade exhaust. It's California legal. It's at 95 decibels if you're worried about it. I got state refed a while ago, and my car passed with at literally 95 decibels, so it's on borderline, but it sounds amazing. With the catless downpipe, it's super loud, but it sounds insane and super good. So now I'm going to be talking about stock modifications, or just a stock motor, what you should be looking out for when buying one. You obviously want to start off with a lower mileage car. Usually higher mileage cars or STs, they have a lot of trouble with the valves getting gunked up, and that causes bad fuel economy. You can drop carbon down into your pistons. You could crack a piston, all kinds of bad stuff. And this is where a catch can comes in. I highly recommend buying a catch can. This is the Damon Motorsports catch can. It basically intercepts the oil from shooting back into the intake, and that eliminates or kind of helps with the intake and getting oil on it. Second area of concern would be looking at your clutch reservoir. Those tend to leak. See, mine, it's a little damp down there. Let's see, it's a little damp down there. I'm not sure if it's leaking, but that is an area of concern. There could be a loose line, a crack in it, but that is pretty common. And then this, I forgot what this is called, but this was a recall from 2014 to 2018. This is like basically it pressurizes the gas tank. There's a little valve on it, and the valve goes bad after time and basically doesn't allow ventilation to your gas tank. So if you don't catch it or you don't replace it soon enough, then your whole tank can crumble in, or you can have a weird thing where your fuel gauge won't go all the way back up once you fill it up, and it'll stay at empty. But just get that taken care of. Other than that, the car is super reliable. I wouldn't have any worries buying this car. I have had no problems. I am on a stage 3 tune from Stratified. I have catless downpipe, full exhaust, intake, intercooler, and this thing treats me really nice. If you treat the car nice, do your maintenance, oil changes, do everything you're supposed to do. Ford recommends doing the transmission change at 110,000 miles. I would do that way before that, just to keep your transmission nice. I do my oil change every 4,000 miles just because I like to, just keep it nice. So I do have an upgraded intercooler. This should be like one of the first mods that you do to your Focus. Getting the intercooler replaced to a bigger one. I'm running the CPE intercooler. They do make a lightweight one, but I'm running like the standard heavy one. This thing is humongous. It literally comes up to here, up the grill, and it's probably like 7-8 inches wide. That thing does an amazing job cooling down your motor, and especially if you live in a hot climate like I do, it gets to like 110, 115 in the summer. This thing does not get any heat soak at all. The stock intercooler are terrible on these cars, and if you are tuned, if you try to boost it, it literally does one pull and then it's heat soaked. It's terrible. They did not do a good job on these cars with the intercoolers. So that's basically your biggest restriction, is your intercooler, and I'd say your second restriction is your downpipe. The downpipe is a 400 cell. It's super bottlenecked at the top, doesn't allow for power. Those are your two biggest restrictions for making power on this platform. And I'd say your third restriction is your fuel pump. But basically, if you want to make power on the ST, you're going to need intercooler, downpipe, and fuel modifications. Extreme DI makes an upgraded fuel pump for the car. So once you do your fueling mods, your downpipe, your intercooler, your intake, that's basically the limiting factor of this platform, is all those. It sucks, but it doesn't, because this car has such a potential to grow and make power. I think the cap on this motor is like 350, 400 horsepower before you gotta do upgraded internals. But still, for like a daily driver track car, that is awesome. And I think it's a super great platform, and I'm excited to build off of it. So I'm just basic stage 3 tuned. I don't have any fueling mods, so I'm about 300 horsepower, roughly 295, 300. And I love this car so much. But yeah, if you're looking to buy one of these, I highly recommend them. I would go for 2015 and above. The facelift models, 2013, 2014 aren't that great. They have head gasket issues and just a lot more recalls than, let's say, these did. I think there was only 1 or 2 recalls they had on this. Yeah, so the clutch on these cars are actually pretty good too. I haven't had any problems pushing the power that I am. This thing handles it and takes it all. I've done launches in this, and I've kind of tested out the limits. I'm still on stock suspension. I think I'm going to do lowering springs until I can afford coilovers. But lowering springs are a good option. Other than that, this car is super stout, and I honestly think it's better than the other competitors, like the Honda Civic Si. I think it's better than the Veloster, especially for the price. Like, nowadays cars are so expensive, and this is just a nice friendly track daily driver option, and I honestly wouldn't recommend anything else. This thing is amazing. I mean, if you got the money, you can buy the Focus RS all-wheel drive, full LSDs in them. It's 350 horsepower, 6-speed manual. Same thing as this car, but you get the all-wheel drive system and a lot more goodies. That car is one cool car, but the limiting factor on that car is actually the motor, so you can't really push that much horsepower. That's why guys, they do 2.0 swaps from this car into that car, and then you can make all the sauce in the world, which is pretty cool. But if you got the money, I would go for the RS. But if you're a guy like me that wants to have fun on a budget, for say, the ST is where it's at. This car rips, and it is super fast around the track. And if that's something you're looking for, then I highly recommend this car. 16 Focus ST, but this is the first model of the ST. There's 3 packages. You can get the ST1, ST2, and ST3. I have the ST1. So the ST1 comes with cloth seats. They're actually pretty comfortable in my opinion. You don't get the Sony sound system. It's just like a generic Ford system, whatever they use in it. I'm not sure. I will put it in the description. I'll put all my details of everything that is used, what it is, in the description. So the 2 main things are the screens. The Focus ST2 and ST3, they have bigger screens from Sony and a different display. You'll have a little knob here. You have dual climate control in the ST3, and you have a different console right here. And you also get Sony sound system and the Sony sub, 10-inch sub, or I believe 8-inch sub. I'm not sure. But yeah, the ST1 is super simple. It's a good track car if you're wanting to track it. There's not a lot of extra things for say. You still get the 6-speed. You don't get the nice leather Recaro seats, but these honestly, they don't hurt me at all, and they feel quite nice. But the biggest problem for me is that the Recaro seats are super tight. They're not fitting for everybody. Like, you got to be super skinny, which is retarded. I don't think they're that comfortable. They get annoying after long trips, so that's another thing you got to keep in mind if you're road tripping the car, you're daily driving it. These seats are amazing daily driver seats. I take this everywhere. Steering wheel's the same. But there's a lot of different packages. Like, you can get heated steering wheel, and then I don't think any of the models come with the LSD. That's an upgraded option. I think you only get in the RS, but basically everything is the same. Exterior exterior wise, and then you have a little change up on the interior. Still get the 6-speed. You still have all the same power. Nothing really changes besides just little button ups here and there. And if you're into sound or whatever, if you're that type of guy, then I would honestly go the ST3 route. But if you daily drive it and you have the Recaro seats, you're not gonna like it. So I would find a different seat option. Some guys, they swap these back into the ST3. They don't look as nice, but they're comfortable, and they're good for stock. So yeah, that's pretty much the interior. Same dash and everything. Back row, it's all the same. And then the ST3 also has a sunroof. I don't know if you're tracking the car, how safe that is if you roll over. I don't know anything about that, but you do get a sunroof, and it is pretty nice. I like the sunroof. I will be doing track days in this car. I do plan on keeping it. I want to build the motor and go down that big turbo, all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that and seeing what this thing can do.